Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and in this video, we are going to talk about the Warmaster and offense tree in the context of support heroes, where maybe you're trying to decide if you are going to go with the defense tree or the offense tree, and exactly what the impact is going to be. Everybody knows you're going to be sacrificing a little bit of damage when you don't go down the offense tree and take Warmaster on a support hero, but what, how much is that is what I'm going to explore in this video, and we're going to talk about how the mastery decision plays out and what the effect will be in a run like the Hydra. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so I got the idea for doing this video because of recently going for the guaranteed summoning event around Nekmathar. I believe it was like 15 sacreds to get him. He's a really solid champion, and I finally got around to building him and getting ready to use him on my account for one of my Hydra teams. And when I was doing the masteries, I was ending up in a situation where it's like, okay, I know I want to go down the support tree. I'm not going to be building him as like a nuker or a damage dealer. He's not going to have 100% crit rate or anything like that. So would it make more sense to go down the defense tree? And would it make sense to get a tier 6 mastery like this, where we're going to increase champion's turn meter whenever an ally drops, or oppressor, where we can increase turn meter fill rate for each debuff? And he is going to be placing a lot of debuffs because he's got the constant attack down and this decreased speed and the leech. So I can basically get this constant turn meter fill. And, I was trying to make this decision of, is it worth it to just get a ton of extra turns over the course of a long Hydra fight? Or should I just be sticking with the tried and true Warmaster to crank more damage in there during the Hydra fight, and which one will benefit me more? So I ended up just going ahead and testing it and taking a couple screenshots and comparing the damage so I can try to figure out which one is going to be the better route if I'm using this guy in a Hydra context. And now you'll see over there on the right, I pulled up the results of that. On the left is going to be with Warmaster. On the right is going to be with no Warmaster, and that is indicated up top. Now, on the left, you'll see the 5.7 million damage, basically, versus 1.7 million. So about 4 million more damage that I did over the course of a long Hydra fight. I did this testing on hard, where I could live for a really long time, but it also wasn't the easiest difficulty. And I made sure to go the exact same amount of time in the Hydra fight and then compare at that time, so I could figure out that I squeezed more turns in to get more attacks off and do more damage, or was taking maybe a little bit less turns from not having the oppressor mastery but getting all of those constant Warmaster procs, which one would add up to being a little bit more. And it was not even close. Warmaster completely decimated the non-Warmaster, and it turned a support champion that wouldn't be bringing much damage at all in the context of a Hydra fight into somebody that's doing pretty decent. I mean, 5.6 million. It was over the course of a long time. It was like 15 or 16 minutes. It was a long Hydra fight, but you can see here that we're going to be getting, even if it was a shorter fight, we would be getting double the damage. Even if it was 1 million versus 3 million or something in a shorter fight, you're getting like triple, double, massive amounts of damage by making sure to get that Warmaster mastery on a support champion like Nekmathar. And I think everybody knows that. Everybody knows, like, yeah, you're going to do a little bit more damage. It's just, what are you sacrificing in order to get there? And I thought it would be fun to know exactly what is that. Like, is it 700k more? Is it 2 million more? Is it like I wanted to know what the actual difference was, so you can try to make those decisions on if it's worth it or not in some of these Hydra teams. But it is also definitely worth noting that Nekmathar is a little bit of a special case because of the AoE A1, but this could apply to someone like Battle Khazar or Skartorsis. People that have these AoE A1s, but they are support champions, can really crank out a ton of damage in the Hydra with Warmaster. Now, if you have a support that is not doing an AoE, you've got someone like Mithrala, you're just doing 2 attacks at random, Warmaster is not going to be near as impactful because she doesn't have anywhere close to the amount of AoE that Nekmathar is going to have. He's actually got 2 different AoE abilities because his other ability is an AoE attack as well. So tons of Warmaster procs up for grabs, and something you definitely want to take note of when you're building teams like this. They actually can do a good amount of support of damage with a support champion if you give them the Warmaster. So in my opinion, when you're building a champion for Hydra success, even if they are a support, it's probably worth scooping up that Warmaster mastery, because in Nekmathar's case, especially with an AoE, it was an insane amount more damage. It was like triple the amount of damage. Also, if you're curious about the full context of the team, that is what it looked like right there. We did have a long fight. It was exactly 1752 for both times that I tested him with or without Warmaster. Obviously, this was the one with Warmaster. You saw the clip where I compared them next to each other side by side. And he ended up doing more than a third of the damage that a high damage dealer like Whisper did, and did half of what Ray did as a support champion. So can definitely stack up pretty fast and crank out a lot of damage for someone that you would think is going to be slotting into just being that support role because of adding Warmaster and cranking out a ton of damage to help me hit different thresholds in the Hydra. So yeah, I was a little bit on the fence about going for Nekmathar during that event because it was a lot of Sacred Shards, but he is a really, really good champion. With the pairing with Warmaster, obviously with all of his AoE, the basically permanent decrease attack on the A1, the both sides of speed manipulation with the AoE decrease, and also the increased speed on all allies that is basically a 3-turn cooldown because he's going to grant an extra turn. So he's basically going to do damage every single turn, because the ability that he doesn't do damage, which is when he's going to be filling turn meter and increasing speed on our whole team, he gets an extra turn and then does damage anyway with an AoE. So I am actually super stoked that I pulled for Nekmathar, and he's going to slide into my second or third Hydra team and really fill an incredible role, not even getting into his passive and his aura. So definitely an amazing champion and probably a top 25-ish champion in the Hydra. Really fun and filling in for me really good on the roster there for those fights. And if you're curious about my build for Nekmathar, he is a really solid champion, and I'm glad I pulled for him. I'm probably going to do a dedicated video here soon on the channel within the next 7 to 10 days when I get time to produce it, because I do want to do content on him. I think he's very good, and I think a lot of people out there are probably going to have him because of the guaranteed summoning event. I think he's going to be very relevant for the long term because of slotting into people's Hydra teams. But if you want, I will put myself away and show you the build that I went with here on Nekmathar. Just a good amount of tankiness, a nice blend of defense and HP with high enough speed and accuracy and resistance to be relevant in the Hydra content that I am using him for on my team. But yeah, he deserves a dedicated deep dive where we really have a full discussion about Nekmathar and get some context out there on that. So yeah, just a random thought I was having and wanting to know the actual numbers that went into it when I was building a champion recently, and I wanted to share that with you when it came to my findings on taking those screenshots and testing those two different things. Definitely let me know down below any testing that you've done or any input you have, agree or disagree with me and all of that. I really enjoy hearing that so I can be more accurate and more knowledgeable in future content. So just keep in mind to throw Warmaster on those support champions. I believe you all knew that, but it's more impactful than I thought it was going to be, honestly. If I had to guess, I would have said, oh, it'll be like an extra million, maybe 2 million in damage. But no, it was like an extra, 4 million damage. So it was about 50 to 75% more impactful than even I anticipated it being. But like I said, the multiple AoEs ended up making it a great choice. So yeah, anyway, that will do it for me on this one. Remember to subscribe on your way out if you enjoy daily Raid Shadow Legends content, and I will see you soon in the next video. Thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.